Hey friends, Canadian Game Master here, and I'm here to talk about how your tactics are wrong in your D&D combat encounters. Now today what we're going to talk about is me changing my voice. We are going to be talking about kobolds, the simple little tiny reptilian style creatures that harass and plague our low-level adventurers on the day-to-day. First, they're obnoxious. They're sneaky, they're conniving. The things that you need to remember about these creatures are they are stupid, don't get me wrong. They're not smart creatures, but they know what their strengths are. Much like any other predator, a cat knows how to be stealthy and attack from above. It's something ingrained inside their survival mechanics. And what they are doing is going to use these advantages against your party members. The way you should look at a kobold is as a potentially extremely dangerous encounter. This should not be something that you throw away and just toss off to the side and just have them swing angrily. What kobolds should be are tactical, clever, and cowardly. When you get into an encounter with a kobold, if it's by itself, it's not going to fight you, right? It doesn't make sense. It's a small creature. It doesn't have the internal fortitude to resist against such an imposing figure as any adventuring group. So what it's going to do is going to run home. That right there is the beginning of the real problem for your party. They're now aware. The way you should be using kobolds in the early level encounters is very rarely and sporadic, because these creatures communicate and they're survivors. So if they do come across your party, all of a sudden they're going to run home and inform the rest of their little den. You don't want that. If they are aware of you, they're well ahead of you. You just leave that encounter alone, otherwise you're just going to kill your party. The largest thing you should consider in a kobold encounter is a small scouting party. 4 to 6 little kobolds that are exploring through the caves looking for food. And you got to make sure that you get rid of them all. Because if you go against these kobolds in a grandiose standoff battle at their den, they're going to win. They are impossibly clever, and their den is rigged for your player's death. They've got traps. They've got hidden little alcoves that they can be in that your players can't get to. They have every home field advantage. They are essentially a boss fight in a tiny creature. They have lair actions. They have legendary actions. They are ready for you. And in the end, even if you manage to kill a couple of them, you'll be beaten, bloodied, and broken, and having to wait for your next day of adventuring, as they all just escape anyways with everything that they had that was of value. I see that I'm ranting off here, but you need to give creatures in this game due respect. I believe in this game that combat is the least entertaining aspect of the game, but partly that's because people don't give it enough credit for what it is supposed to be. There is supposed to be some level of danger with every encounter, otherwise you're just making a meat grinder out of your players and it's not fun. Hooray, we killed another weak thing. Plan ahead and be smart with these creatures. Is there a place for the kobolds to hide? They're probably hiding in it. Is there a trap ahead that there's already a kobold there waiting to spring on you? It's already there. Don't do these creatures a disservice by not allowing them to be at their full potential in these little combat encounters. And now to explain the actual tactics that I want you to use for a kobold. They're pack hunters. They, in the D&D monster manual, they explain that they keep badgers and whatnot as pets. It would make perfect sense that these creatures understand that they have this pack tactics ability. Everything that they do works better when they're in a group. So if they have an ally in base-to-base contact, they get the advantage. So it wouldn't be too shocking to have them charge in their little badger, have it attack the weak one. They're predators. They go for the weakest one first. And they're cowardly. They go for the weakest one first. So you're Clothy, or someone who would perceive to be weak. Maybe you have equal-sized creatures if you have a halfling or a gnome, something that puts them on a bit more of a level playing field, because this is how they're going to think. Send in the badger, get it in base-to-base contact, and unleash a volley onto it. Rolling all with advantage, all good damage, and just taking that creature out of the fray. And if they're winning a fight, they'll pursue, unless they have a substantial enough meal. If they dropped somebody, they'll stay with the somebody. But if your party is losing and they are running, let the kobolds pursue them and make the encounter feel like it's dangerous beyond the fact that they just decided to leave. This game is meant to be centered, in my opinion, in some form of reality. These things don't just happen by accident. You don't just turn off the video game and get away scot-free without punishment. If you've attacked a kobold den, they're going to come after you, they're going to hurt you, and they're going to pursue you when you run. Just be sure that your players are prepared for this level of a tactical encounter. That way they can bring their A game versus your, be honest, a C or a B game at best. Now, to finish this off, I'm going to go back to my request. What kind of creature do you want to see actual tactics on here? Because this is a simple creature. There's not much to really delve in. They've got their little weapons, and they've got their pack tactics and their traps. Their traps, they've got pull cord traps, they've got dead weight traps. Litter their den with it. Don't have the traps outside of the den. They won't have them out there, but in the den, everywhere. What I would like from other DMs is to just, even though if you don't really enjoy combat and you only have one combat every session or one every couple sessions, make sure you put the effort into the combat. Don't let it be a throwaway encounter. Make sure you do some studying and research into the creatures that you're looking at. Kobolds? They're simple. I'm going to end this off with the disclaimer. Don't take everything I say or anything I say as rule of law. This is not the correct way to play D&D. I'm not here to berate you or make you feel bad that you've done it wrong, but if you are looking to increase the challenge and the tactical reward of your creatures, I will go into a more in-depth series along the way. What I would like you to do here is let me know what kind of creature that you want to have tactics for the creatures and against your players. Please give the creatures their due respect when you're doing the game. This is the Canadian Game Master here, and I'm going to sign off for today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Oh, and that's Moose the beaver. Bye-bye.